Her voice trembled, but her words cut through the night like a scream. "My son is missing, and you're just standing there laughing?" The officer smirked, leaning lazily against his cruiser, arms crossed as if he had all the time in the world. But time was running out. The streetlights flickered above the empty road. A mother, Angela Johnson, stood shaking, clutching her phone in one hand and her son's backpack in the other. The zipper was broken, and inside lay a single notebook, the last thing he carried before disappearing. "Please," she begged. "He's only 12. His name is Jordan. He never came home from school. I need your help." The cop, Officer Rick Daniels, chuckled under his breath. "Lady, kids wander off all the time. Maybe he's at a friend's house. Maybe he ran away. Why don't you calm down?" Angela's chest tightened. This wasn't a runaway. Something was wrong. But the more she pleaded, the more Daniels shrugged her off. His laughter echoed in the still night. Angela's tears streamed down her face as Daniels pulled out his phone. Not to help, but to text someone. "Don't expect me to waste department resources chasing after every little missing boy," he sneered. "Besides, I'm sure he'll turn up. They always do." That word, they. Angela froze, staring at him. She knew exactly what he meant. Her blood boiled. If this were anyone else's child, he'd have called backup by now. She stepped closer, her voice sharp. "My son's life is at stake, and you're laughing in my face." Then the sound. Engines. Several black SUVs pulling up at the curb. Their headlights cut through the darkness, surrounding the street in a cold glow. Daniel straightened, frowning. What the hell is this? Angela turned, confused. The SUV doors opened in sync. Men in dark suits stepped out, badges flashing in the light. FBI. Daniels froze. His smirk vanished. One agent walked forward, his voice like steel. "Officer Daniels, step aside. This is no longer your case." Angela gasped. "The FBI? For Jordan?" Daniels stuttered. "Wait, what's going on here?" "She came to me first." The agent cut him off sharply. "You should have listened, Daniels. Now stay out of this, if you value your badge." Angela's heart raced. The air was heavy. Something about their urgency chilled her to the core. She whispered, Why would the FBI care about my son?" The agent looked at her, hesitated, and then leaned in close. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Mrs. Johnson, this isn't just a missing child case. Your son may have stumbled into something far bigger than you can imagine." Angela's knees buckled. "What do you mean? What's happening to my baby?" The agent's face was grave. "Ma'am, you and your son might be in danger." Before Angela could respond, a sharp crack echoed through the night. Glass shattered somewhere down the street. The agents spun around, drawing their weapons. Angela's heart pounded as she clutched the backpack to her chest. Daniels whispered under his breath, "Oh God, what did that kid see?" The FBI agent turned to Angela, eyes wide, and said the words that froze her blood. "Run. Don't look back." The night filled with sirens and shouting. And just as Angela turned to flee, she heard a voice calling her name. A voice she recognized. Jordan's. Gunshots tore through the night. Angela's scream ripped from her chest as headlights flashed across her terrified face. Somewhere in the chaos, a boy's voice cried out, "Mom!" Her heart nearly stopped. Jordan? But the street was a storm of shadows and shouting. FBI agents moved in formation, weapons raised, barking orders. And, standing frozen in the middle of it all, was Officer Daniels, his smirk long gone, his hands trembling. Angela clutched her son's torn backpack against her chest, tears streaming down her face. She shouted above the noise, "Where's my baby? Where is he?" And then, silence. The gunfire ceased. The night was still again. But what Angela heard next was worse than the bullets. One of the FBI agents muttered into his radio, "We got eyes on the kid. Repeat, we got eyes. But he's not alone." Angela's breath caught in her throat. "Not alone? Who's with my son?" The air was heavy with the smell of smoke and gunpowder. Angela's knees buckled as an agent grabbed her arm, pulling her to safety behind one of the SUVs. "Stay down, ma'am," the agent barked. But she couldn't stay down. Not when she'd heard his voice. "My son is out there," she screamed, struggling against his grip. "Jordan, Jordan, baby. Another agent crouched beside her, his voice low and urgent. Mrs. Johnson, listen to me. If you run out there now, you'll both be dead. Whoever has your son, they don't want witnesses. Angela's stomach twisted. Her mind raced. What had Jordan seen? Why would anyone target a 12-year-old boy? Meanwhile, Officer Daniels stumbled backward, pale and sweating. His earlier arrogance was gone. This doesn't make sense, he muttered, almost to himself. It was just some kid. Missing kid. How? How the hell does the FBI get involved in a schoolboy case? An agent snapped at him. Because you didn't do your job. You ignored her. And now that boy may have stumbled into something tied to a federal investigation. Daniels shook his head. No, this is insane. I've been on this beat for 15 years. I know these people. That kid, he couldn't have seen anything important. The agent cut him off sharply. You'd be surprised who sees what, officer. Especially when criminals get sloppy. For the first time, Daniel's voice cracked. What the hell did he see? Angela, still sobbing, overheard their words. She gripped the torn backpack tighter. Her son's notebook slipped out, falling open on the ground. Scrawled across one page in messy handwriting were words that made her blood run cold. They meet at the old warehouse. Friday. Don't tell anyone. Dangerous men. Angela froze. Her son had written it. Tears blurred her vision as the truth sank in. Jordan saw something. He knew something. The agent nearest her spotted the notebook. His face hardened. This confirms it, he muttered. The boy witnessed the drop. Angela's heart pounded. What drop? What are you talking about? The agent's jaw clenched. He didn't answer. Angela grabbed his sleeve, desperate. Tell me, please. My son is out there. What is happening to him? Finally, the agent whispered. Your son saw a cartel handoff. He wasn't supposed to. And now, they're trying to silence him. Angela gasped, the world spinning around her. My baby, oh God. He's just a child. Suddenly, movement. From the edge of the street, under the flickering street lamp, a shadow emerged. Angela's eyes widened. A figure, a small figure. Jordan, she whispered. But as the boy stepped into the light, Angela's hope shattered. It wasn't Jordan. It was another child, his best friend, Darius. His face was bruised, his clothes torn. The FBI rushed forward, pulling him to safety. Angela dropped to her knees beside him. Darius, where's Jordan? Where is he? The boy's lips trembled. Tears streamed down his dirty face. He whispered one word. Taken. Angela's scream pierced the night. The FBI moved fast. Radios buzzed. Orders were shouted. Agents swarmed the street. Daniel stood off to the side, shaking his head in disbelief. This is insane. Cartels? Missing kids? I just thought she was overreacting. The lead agent glared at him. Your ignorance cost us time. And time is the one thing that boy doesn't have. Angela knelt beside Darius, gripping his small hand. Baby, please. Tell me, who took Jordan? Where did they take him? The boy's voice was barely a whisper. They said, he saw too much. They said they'd make him disappear like the others. Angela's heart nearly stopped. The others. The agent's face darkened. It's worse than we thought. He's not the first. As Angela begged for answers, one SUV screeched away into the night. The FBI moving toward the old warehouse Jordan had scribbled about in his notebook. Angela demanded to go with them, but they refused. It's too dangerous, they told her. But Angela wasn't listening. Rage burned inside her. If they thought she'd sit by while her son was out there, they were wrong. She slipped away, following behind on foot. Her body trembled, her lungs burned, but her determination carried her forward. The streets grew darker, quieter. And then she saw it. The warehouse. Its windows glowed faintly. Shadows moved inside. Voices carried on the wind. Angela pressed herself against the wall, tears streaming down her face. She could hear a boy crying inside. Jordan. Her heart thundered in her chest. She was so close. Suddenly, headlights cut across the alley. Another car pulled up. Angela ducked low, her breath shallow. Men stepped out, tall, armed, dangerous. One of them carried a phone to his ear. She heard his words clearly. The boy's here. The deal goes down at midnight. Make sure the mother doesn't find out. Angela's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a sob. But then, a hand grabbed her shoulder from behind. She spun, terrified, staring into the cold, shaking eyes of Officer Daniels. "What the hell are you doing here?" he hissed. "Do you want to get us both killed?" Angela glared at him, her voice breaking. "My son is in there, and I will die before I let them take him from me." Daniels swallowed hard. For once, there was no smugness in his voice, only fear. "You don't understand, lady. If you go in there, none of us are coming out alive." And then, the warehouse door creaked open. A man stepped into the night, and in his grip, his massive, gloved hand, was Jordan. Angela's scream tore through the air. The warehouse door groaned open, and Jordan stumbled into view. His wrists were bound, his small frame dwarfed by the man dragging him forward. The guard's face was shadowed, but his voice was sharp and cruel. "Stop crying, boy. You're lucky you're still breathing." Angela's entire body trembled. Her son's cheeks were streaked with dirt and tears, his lips split open. The sight ignited something primal inside her, rage sharper than any fear. "Jordan," she whispered, her voice breaking. Daniels gripped her arm. "Are you insane? Stay down. If they see you—" But Angela shoved him away, eyes blazing. "That's my child. Do you think I care what happens to me?" The cop's hand trembled. For the first time, Angela saw it. Fear not just for himself, but for what he now understood. This was no ordinary missing person case. This was war. From her hiding place, Angela saw the men gather. Dozens of them, hardened criminals with tattoos, rifles slung across their backs, radios buzzing with coded chatter. A long table stood in the center of the warehouse. Piles of cash, duffel bags, weapons, the evidence of something far bigger than anything Angela could imagine. And Jordan, her baby boy, was shoved into a metal chair at the edge of the room. "Boss says keep him alive," one thug muttered. "Alive for now," another sneered. Jordan's voice was a trembling whisper. "Please, I didn't mean to see anything. I won't tell anyone. I promise." But the men laughed. Cold, merciless laughter. Angela dug her nails into the brick wall, tears blurring her vision. Every instinct screamed at her to run in and take him. But she couldn't. Not yet. Daniels crouched beside her, pale and sweating. His voice cracked with guilt. "This is my fault. If I had listened." Angela turned on him, fury in her eyes. "You laughed at me. You mocked me. My son could die because of you." Daniels flinched, shame washing over him. "I didn't know it was this big. I thought you were just another hysterical mom. I've been blind." Angela's whisper was venom. "Blindness is a choice. And now my boy is paying the price." For once, Daniels had no words. Only silence and the weight of his failure. A black SUV screeched into the lot. Doors swung open, and more men stepped out. But these weren't street thugs. They wore tailored suits, their cold eyes sharp with authority. Angela's breath caught. The cartel bosses had arrived. One of them, tall, with a scar running down his cheek, strode forward. His voice echoed across the warehouse. "Is the boy secure?" "Yes, sir," a guard replied. He hasn't spoken a word. The scarred man leaned down, gripping Jordan's chin with gloved fingers. The boy winced. "Such brave eyes," the man whispered. "But bravery won't save you. You saw something you shouldn't have. And now, your silence is our insurance." Angela's heart nearly shattered. She had to move. But how? Suddenly, Daniels pulled something from his jacket. Angela froze. A badge, but not his police badge. A second one, marked with cartel insignia. Angela's world spun. "You're one of them," she hissed. Daniel's face twisted with shame. "I didn't want it to come to this. I was in too deep. They own me, Angela. They own half the force. That's why I laughed at you, because I had to." Angela's chest burned with fury. "You sold out children. You sold out my son." Daniels shook his head violently. "I never thought it would go this far. They were supposed to scare people, not take kids." "I didn't know." Angela cut him off, her voice a whisper of pure rage. "You disgust me," Jordan whimpered, his small voice echoing through the warehouse. "Mom, please." Angela's knees buckled. She couldn't wait anymore. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. She lunged forward. but Daniels grabbed her, pinning her against the wall. His eyes burned with desperation. "If you go in there, they'll kill you both. Do you understand? Both of you," Angela thrashed, sobbing. "Then let them kill me. I can't stand here and watch them hurt my baby." Daniel's hands shook. For once, he looked broken. "God forgive me. I didn't sign up for this." Suddenly, headlights blazed from the other side of the street. Engines roared. FBI SUVs. Dozens of agents in tactical gear poured out, weapons raised. Shouts filled the air. Federal agents. Hands in the air. Gunfire erupted instantly. The cartel wasn't going down quietly. Bullets slammed into cars, sparks flying. Angela screamed as chaos exploded. Daniels pulled her down just as glass shattered above them. Inside the warehouse, Jordan ducked as men shouted, scrambling to protect their cargo. The scarred boss roared, "Move the boy! Now!" Angela saw her chance. While the FBI pushed forward, she bolted across the lot, sprinting through the gunfire. "Jordan!" she cried. Her son's wide eyes locked on hers. "Mom!" Angela barreled toward the side door of the warehouse, ducking low as bullets whizzed overhead. Her heart pounded, but adrenaline drowned out the fear. She would reach him. She had to. Inside, the scarred boss barked orders. "Get the boy to the van. If they catch him, we're finished." Two guards yanked Jordan to his feet, dragging him toward the exit. The boy screamed, kicking wildly. "Let me go. Mom!" Angela burst through the doorway just as they reached the van. Her eyes locked on her son's terrified face. "Stop!" she screamed. The guards froze. For a moment, time seemed to hang still. Then the scarred boss turned, his gun raised, his cold eyes fixed on her. "You just signed your death warrant, lady." Before the boss could pull the trigger, a shot rang out. The bullet didn't hit Angela. It hit Daniels. He had thrown himself in front of her, collapsing to the ground with a strangled gasp. Angela froze, stunned. Daniel's blood pooled beneath him, his trembling hand clutching hers. "Save your boy," he whispered. The scarred boss roared in fury. "Take them both." Jordan screamed as the guards shoved him into the van. Angela lunged forward, but the door slammed shut. The engine roared to life. Her son was gone again. Angela fell to her knees, her cry tearing through the night as the warehouse burned in gunfire and chaos. Angela's scream echoed into the night as the van's taillights cut through the smoke. Her body lurched forward, pure instinct driving her, but the chaos around her swallowed every step. FBI agents shouted, bullets cracked through the air, sparks rained down from shattered glass. And in the middle of it all, Daniels lay bleeding at her feet, his hands still reaching weakly toward her. Angela collapsed beside him, tears streaming down her face. "Don't you dare die on me. Not now." Daniels coughed, blood staining his lips. His voice was a rasp, each word laced with pain. "They'll kill him unless you move now." Angela's gaze darted back to the van disappearing into the night. Her heart split in two. Her son was being taken. Again. But if she left Daniels' eyes locked on hers, sharp despite the fading light in them. "Go. Angela, go save your boy." Her body shook. She wanted to hate him. She wanted to curse him for every betrayal. But in this moment, all she saw was a broken man paying the price of his sins. Angela kissed his forehead, trembling. "Don't you dare close your eyes. You hear me? Stay alive." Then she rose, and she ran. Angela burst through the smoke-filled street, weaving between FBI agents. "Which way?" she screamed. An agent barked, "Black van, East Side Highway. Units are in pursuit." She didn't hesitate. Her legs carried her faster than her lungs could handle, her vision tunneling on the glowing red taillights in the distance. Her voice tore from her throat. "Jordan, hold on, baby." The night air sliced against her skin, but her body didn't care. Adrenaline made her unstoppable. She spotted an abandoned FBI SUV, engine still running, door hanging open. Without thinking, she jumped in, slammed the gear shift, and tires screeched against the asphalt. The chase had begun. Jordan's tiny fists pounded against the guard's arms, his cries sharp and desperate. "Let me go. I want my mom." The scarred boss sat in the passenger seat, his cold gaze fixed ahead. Keep him quiet. If the feds catch us, this boy becomes a bullet shield." Jordan whimpered, his eyes wide with terror. "Why me? I didn't do anything." The boss finally turned, his scar gleaming in the passing streetlights. His voice was chilling. "You saw something you shouldn't have. That makes you dangerous. And dangerous things don't get to live long." The boy swallowed hard, tears streaming down his cheeks. But deep in his trembling chest, something small ignited. His mother's words. Her strength. "Never let fear win, Jordan. Never." He clenched his fists. Silent. Waiting. The highway stretched endlessly ahead, but Angela's eyes locked on the van, swerving in the distance. Her knuckles whitened against the steering wheel. Every breath burned her lungs. "You are not taking my son," she growled. She pressed harder on the gas pedal, the engine roaring beneath her. The SUV shot forward, weaving between panicked drivers trying to escape the firefight spilling into the streets. Gunfire echoed behind her as the FBI clashed with cartel forces, but Angela didn't care. Her world had narrowed into a single point. The van. Her son. Back at the warehouse, Daniels clutched his bleeding side as chaos raged. Agents pressed around him, shouting for medics. His vision blurred, his chest heaved, but his mind focused on one thing. Angela. If she failed, if Jordan was lost, all of this blood, all of this betrayal would mean nothing. With what strength he had left, he grabbed an agent's wrist. "Don't trust anyone inside the bureau. Cartel has people everywhere." The agent's eyes widened. Daniels coughed, darkness creeping at the edge of his vision. "Tell her she has to disappear, or they'll never stop hunting." Angela closed the gap, headlights glaring against the back of the van. She leaned forward, teeth clenched, every nerve screaming. Then, a gun barrel appeared from the back window. "No!" The shot cracked the windshield. Glass exploded inward, slicing across Angela's arms. But she didn't flinch. She swerved hard, narrowly dodging the second bullet. Her heart thundered. If she slowed down, she'd lose them. If she sped up, she'd die. And yet, she pressed the gas harder. Inside the van, Jordan spotted it. The guard's gun, carelessly holstered at his side. His tiny hands trembled. His mind screamed in fear. But then he heard it, his mother's voice, echoing in his memory. "You are stronger than you think, Jordan. Never forget that." With a burst of courage, Jordan bit down on the guard's hand. The man yelped, and in that split second, Jordan grabbed the gun. "HEY!" The driver roared. The van swerved violently, tires screeching. Jordan clutched the weapon with shaking hands, tears streaking his cheeks. "Stay away from me." The scarred boss smirked coldly. "Brave, just like your mother. But bravery without power is useless." He lunged. Angela watched in horror as the van swerved wildly ahead. She could see shadows inside, movement, chaos. "Jordan," she whispered. The van skidded, nearly toppling as the boss struggled with the boy. Angela knew she had one chance. Her eyes narrowed, and she slammed her SUV forward. The impact cracked metal against metal. The van spun violently, tires screeching across the pavement. Angela's hands shook against the wheel, her body jolted forward. But she didn't stop. She rammed again. The van flipped. Once, twice, 3 times. Metal screamed against asphalt as sparks lit up the night. Angela slammed the brakes, the SUV skidding sideways, her chest heaving as the world slowed around her. The van landed upside down, smoke pouring from its engine. Angela's heart stopped. "Jordan!" She flung the door open and ran, her legs nearly buckling beneath her. The guards lay scattered across the road, groaning in pain. Angela's eyes darted frantically, and then a small hand pushed against the shattered window. "Mom!" Her baby boy. Alive. Angela screamed his name, tearing the door open with shaking hands. She pulled him out, clutching him so tightly his ribs ached. Jordan sobbed into her chest. "I knew you'd come." Angela wept, rocking him in her arms. "I'll always come for you. Always." But the moment of relief shattered instantly. A gun cocked behind her. From the wreckage, the scarred boss dragged himself out, blood streaming down his forehead. Yet his eyes, cold, merciless, never wavered. He raised his pistol, voice like steel. "This ends now." Angela turned, shielding Jordan with her body. Her voice was steady, even through the tears. "You'll have to kill me first." The boss smirked. That was always the plan. His finger tightened on the trigger. Before he could fire, a deafening shot rang out. The scarred boss staggered backward, blood blooming across his chest. Angela froze, clutching Jordan. Her eyes darted toward the smoke. And there, standing in the shadows, a figure emerged. Not FBI, not cartel. Someone else. Someone who shouldn't have been there at all. Angela's breath caught. It couldn't be, but it was. Her past had just returned, and it would change everything. Angela's breath hitched as the smoke parted. The figure stepped closer, boots crunching against shattered glass. A man, older now, but unmistakable. "Dad," Angela whispered. Her father, a man she hadn't seen in 15 years. The man she thought was dead. His rifle still smoked. The scarred boss's body crumpled in the distance. But his eyes, hard cold, did not carry the warmth she remembered. "Angela," he rasped, "we don't have time for reunions. Get the boy out of here." Angela's chest heaved. "You're alive all this time. Alive, but not free." He cut in, his tone sharp. "This cartel, I was undercover, deeper than anyone ever knew. They think I'm one of them. That's why you can't stay. If they see you with me, you'll both be marked forever." Jordan clung to her waist, trembling. "Mom, what's happening?" Angela whispered, "It's your grandfather." The boy's eyes widened. But before she could say more, gunfire cracked from the wreckage. The boss wasn't dead yet. The scarred man staggered up, clutching his bleeding chest, rage fueling his every move. "You think this ends with me?" he snarled. "This is just the beginning. The cartel will never stop. Not for you. Not for your son." He raised his gun again, blood dripping down his arm. Angela shoved Jordan behind her, bracing for the shot. Crack! Another round tore through the night. This time, the boss fell for good. His weapon clattered uselessly across the pavement. Silence. Angela's father lowered his rifle slowly, his face shadowed with sorrow. "You don't understand, Angela. Killing him just opened a door you can't close." Screeching tires. Dozens of black SUVs boxed in a highway. Tactical lights blazed. Agents shouting orders as they stormed the scene. Federal agents. "Drop your weapons." Angela's father raised his hands calmly, rifle dangling from one arm. But the way the agents aimed at him wasn't standard. Angela's stomach twisted. Something was wrong. "Mom," Jordan whimpered. "Why are they pointing at him?" An agent shouted, "That man is not who you think he is. Step away from him now." Angela's heart pounded. Her father's eyes met hers, filled with a silent plea. "Don't listen to them," he said. "They're compromised. The Bureau has been theirs for years. If you trust them, you'll lose your son again." The agents moved closer, weapons drawn. The air burned with tension. Angela's chest heaved. Her world tilted, her mind screaming. Who was lying? Who was telling the truth? One agent stepped forward, his badge glinting in the light. "Angela, listen to me. That man, your father, has been working with the cartel for decades. He's the one who orchestrated the kidnappings. He's the reason your son was taken." Angela froze. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. Her father's voice cut through the chaos. "They'll tell you anything to turn you against me. But think, Angela, who saved your life tonight? Who just saved you, boy?" Jordan's hand squeezed hers desperately. "Mom, who do we believe?" Angela's throat closed. Tears blurred her vision. And then, her father's face hardened. "You don't have to choose. You already know." The FBI shouted again, their rifles steady. Angela's father's hand twitched toward his rifle. Angela raised her trembling hands. "No, please stop this." But deep inside, she knew only one side could walk away from this alive. The truth would reveal itself in blood. Suddenly, her father turned. Not toward Angela, not toward the agents, but toward the shadows behind them. Crack, crack, crack. Gunfire erupted from the ridge. Cartel snipers. Angela's father threw himself in front of Angela and Jordan, taking the bullets meant for them. He collapsed, blood pouring from his chest, his breath ragged. Angela fell to her knees beside him, sobbing. Why? Why would you do this if you were one of them? His voice was barely a whisper. Because even monsters can choose in the end. His eyes met Jordan's, saw for the first time. Be better than me, boy. Protect her. Protect your future. And then, silence. Angela screamed into the night as the FBI closed in, dragging her and Jordan away. The cartel snipers were neutralized. The highway went quiet. But Angela's soul never would. She held Jordan tight as agents pulled them towards safety. Her tears soaked his hair. It's over, baby. It's finally over. But Jordan looked back at his grandfather's lifeless body, his small face carved with something no child should bear. Mom, is it really over? Angela didn't answer, because deep down, she knew the truth. The cartel was still out there. The corruption still ran deep. And though this battle was won, the war had only just begun. A single file slid across a shadowed desk in Washington. Inside, Angela's photo, Jordan's, and a single word stamped in red. Targets,